Hi friends, this is Angela with Wild Violets Art. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little gift bag. As you can see, we're using the free designer series paper, the gold and silver specialty paper, little 6x6 paper, and we're using the tree lot dies, which were also free. So I know that many of you got it, but sad to say that it has been retired, but many of you that do have it, there's nothing better than using it for a holiday gift bag. And this is a 4 by, it's a little bit higher, yeah, 4 by 4.5 inch bag. And this is 1.5 inch wide. And I've got all the measurements on my blog, and I'll provide that information in my video below. So as you can see, these dies, the tree lot dies that were free with Celebration in fall of 2022, just had so much in it and really, really sweet. Okay, all right. So as you can see, we've got the 6x6 paper. It's already been scored. There's 2 of them, and there's 2 of the 1.5 inch by 6 inch as well that are going to go right above it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to snip out your little corners, and you're going to do this to both of them. And this is the 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 or 1.5, and then you're going to just snip this up to the score line because it'll be one of the flaps. So again, you cut it out. It's just like the bag, or similar to the bag that we did with Stampin' Up! And in the class that we did online just for demonstrators recently. So that was really fun. Okay, so now I'm going to add tear and tape. To both of these, same place, in the little 1/2 inch flap. And then I'm going to add tear and tape to the inside of my striped paper. And then I'm going to be lining it up with, I have a 1/2 inch score line, and I'm going to line it up with that, and I'm going to line up my score marks. Then I'll tear back a little bit of this tear and tape, and I'm going to need a little bit more side to hold this piece down as well, and I'll show you why. And then I'm going to need a little bit more right up here. Oops. I have this other one that I need to do as well. Same thing. And as you can see, my score lines continue on into this flap as well. So I'm going to need a little bit right here. And I'm just going to pull this down far enough to do the flap. So okay. Now I can put these 2 together, and I want them to match at the score lines. So the top and the bottom line up. And then I'm going to fold where I matched it, where the seam is. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to fold where this score line is. Take the rest of the tear and tape off. And then I'm going to carefully line up the top all the way down. And I've got my bag. It looks like I missed a little spot right there. Okay. So once you've figured out which is going to be your front, and I think I'll make this one my front, then I want this flap right here to have a little bit more support, or at least I should not say the flap, but I want the bottom to have a little more support. And so I've cut one down that's just a tiny bit less than this one. And again, it's going to be all on my blog, so you'll have all these measurements. And I'm going to go ahead and just adhere it to the inside of my front. And that way it's on in between. It's not something that's just floating at the bottom. But I just want to give it a little bit extra support. Okay, so now my two flaps, I'm going to put a little bit more tear and tape on. And then my back flap, which is going to be tucked up inside, I'm going to put a little bit here. You can use glue if you don't like tear and tape, but tear and tape is a lot less messy. Okay, so I want these to go in first. Then I'm going to have my back go in. And then my front will go over last. Just making sure that everything is nice and smooth. If you need to, you can use something to push onto the inside so that it's secure. Okay, then I'm going to pinch my edges. And I'm going to... This is my front. I'm going to use a ruler to make sure that my hole punches are about centered. Okay. All right, I have a 24-inch piece of, or a little bit more, of this black and white check, and I'm cutting it in half. And I'm going to thread it through both. Now, because this ribbon is thin, it may not knot up very easily or stay in the little holes, even if you try to create bigger knots. I think they tend to fall out. So what I'm going to do is, once I get this threaded through, then I'm going to just tie it in a knot. That way you don't ever have to worry about the handles coming out, and I just put it to one side. Okay, so I used the basic border dies for this, and what I used was just this rounded corner, and you can either have like a swoop or you can have a hillside, and I used both for my class. And I'm just going to adhere this to the front. going to be my snow. The shimmery white cardstock would work really good for this. I didn't do that for this, but that would have been a good one. And now I've got all my little pieces that are going to start going together. Okay. Now I have this black piece here that I'm just going to glue to the back, and because I don't need the tire or the hitch, and one of my class participants showed me this yesterday. They're much cleverer than I am, I'll tell you. And then I'm just going to glue it over the top. And then you can glue little silver top, silver base, and then I'm just going to add glue dots to add the vellum for the windows. And it's always best to add your glue dots directly to your cardstock. That way you're not dealing with having to try to place the glue dots. They seem to always get and then I just add the vellum to the back. Looks like I missed the spot for where I needed the glue dot. Okay. So I'm going to clean out these little trees. So I'm using the silver foil, and this is one of the celebration items because the celebration ran out of some of the items. They wanted to give some more options, so it has this really pretty pewter, and it has a darker silver, and then of course the light silver is what I used for the camper. So the silver foil is a really great deal, and it makes just a really unique little bag. Even though they're not the typical Christmas colors other than the red, I thought it was just so striking, especially with this check gingham. Okay. This little glue bottle helps me get really right where I want the glue so I don't end up with it all over the place. Not quite so heavy-handed. Okay, so once all my trees are done, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add dimensionals to the back. And I want my tallest tree to go up as far as I can. Then I want the smallest tree and I'll just slip it right behind it. And it's okay if it goes off the edge. Remember, this is a gift bag, so it doesn't have to fit in an envelope. And then I want this one to be right over here. And I just want to make sure that these will still fit. Okay. So now I'm going to just add my little Christmas wreath. This is just so adorable. Tiny little thing, but I'm gonna fit it right around my door window. And then my little bow. course, you can put it however you want to. Got a little curtain. I think a red curtain would have been really cute as well. And when the window gets cut out, it has this little round circle, and this is something that somebody gave me as a suggestion, which I thought was great. Works great as a tire rim. And it's just slightly less than the half of the circle. Okay, so now that we have the trailer put together, I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of this as well. And I'm just going to place it here on the scene. Okay, 2 little banners. Just give it that festive air. It doesn't matter if it's snowing or not. Just an excuse to party in the snow. Okay. Let's get rid of some of the trash and move on to the next item. Okay. So I'm using a little greeting from Hydrangea in Heaven. They have all these cute little greetings like "for you," "with love," "congrats," "thank you," "I love you." They have a bunch of little ones. And so what I'm using is the small "for you" greeting. And I'm going to be using the little pocket envelope die. One of the little tags from there. And I'll place this here just so you can see the finished product. Used Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Okay, I'm going to put a little dimensional on the back of it because once I have it placed, I want it to stay. So a friend of mine provided me with some of these dental flossers for when you have braces. So when you've got a small hole that you need to thread baker's twine or something through, it works perfectly. So much faster than trying to fight with the baker's twine. So you can see how well that worked. I'm going to change sides since I didn't do the tag right. I think I'll stick it right there. And I'm just going to tie this into a knot. Okay, I have a little bit extra, so it's another 12 inches, and I'm going to make a little bow. I like my bows, especially with something small like this, to be small and cute. So I'm gonna cut off most of the ribbon. Now, one of the things that's always frustrating when you've got this cute little bag is it seems like your little bag handles come down all the time. So what I decided to use was a couple of glue dots, and I just roll it up, and I'm going to place it underneath so that my bag handles stay up. So you can see how much nicer that looks when it just stays in place. Looks like my bow just wasn't quite tight enough. Super cute. So I just need the other half of my handles done, and I'm all done. So I hope you appreciated the video. All the measurements are on my blog, and I'll leave that information below the video as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and even share my video with all your friends. Thank you so much. Again, this is Angela with Wild Violets Art.